Hey everyone, I'm Kelly Marie Mills, and you're on my YouTube channel for Yoga Ayurveda Living. And today we're doing a practice on grounding the Vata dosha. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much. If you like and subscribe, it would really help to move the channel to people that are interested in whole health like you. Thank you, and we're going to start laying down on our backs. So come laying down in any way at all. Resting your head back. And this is a Zoom session, a Zoom class, a private class with students. So bear with me if there's any glitches. Pressing into your feet, and your toes are facing towards the short side of the mat, and your knees are bent. And just notice the shape of your body as it is right now. Breathing in and breathing out. And just for this dosha and also this chakra, first chakra, we're looking at stabilizing everything. In that stability, if you think of the earth, it doesn't move very fast from what we see with our eyesight. But if we were a smaller ant, we definitely would notice the shifts and different movements of the earth itself. So I'm kind of glad I'm not an ant. Press into your feet. So you're pressing into your feet to notice any echoes of that movement through your back, through your pelvis, wherever your hands are. And then relax your feet, relax your back. And then you breathe in and you breathe out. And again, beginning again, pressing into your feet. And release and breathe out and breathe in. And last time. And then from there, release your palms so they're downward facing onto the floor, and your arms are close to your body. If you have socks on, it might be a good time to take them off. But it's got a bit chilly here now in Ireland, so our autumn has come in with a vengeance after a whole week of summer out of 4 months of expectation. If that's not destabilizing, nothing else is. So, and the woods are actually glorious yesterday and today. So press into your feet, and we're just going to hover our pelvis off the mat with a breath in and a breath out. Lower your pelvis down. And then again, pressing into your feet and hovering the pelvis off the mat and lowering it down. And last time, this time, press into your feet, hover your back. So I feel like my back is only like 2 inches off the mat, 3 max. And we stay here for a few breaths. I want you to connect into that sense of creating stability through your legs, your thighs, your feet, and using that dynamic weight of the weight of the body to build that strength and lowering down. Really simple practice in creating stability through the body. And then any movement, if you think of movement, it's destabilizing. So when we notice that we're getting anxiety or we're getting a bit ditzy or forgetful or we can't decide things, this is a Vata sign. So that means just take a pause, sit down, take a breath in. So we're going to breathe in. We're not sitting down, but we're going to take a breath in and sighing it out of our mouth. Then we inhale both arms, the fingertips lift up to the sky, and then exhale, lower your arms back and down and bend your elbows. Breathe into your body and breathe out. And this time we're letting our knees move over to the right, but really slowly. Have a lot of awareness about how the stability of your legs moves, and you start to really notice all of the motor neurons waking up, shifting. Notice anything that feels what we would call stiff is really just contracted areas that are seeking prana, are seeking the movement of blood and plasma, breathing in. And exhale to anything that you would label as feeling a sense of stiffness, probably more through your lower back or pelvis. And then we breathe in and we bring our knees back to center just to get moving on this cooler morning. Breathing in and out a simple breath. And then letting your knees go over to the left. Trying to stay in total awareness of the shift of stability into movement. And notice if there is anything that feels a bit drier, whether it's feeling a bit stiff or stuck. Finding that breath in and the breath out. Bringing your knees to center. And then exhale, press the soles of your feet into the floor. Feel what happens to your back and then relax. And again, pressing the soles of your feet into the floor because your arms are still shoulder height, and relax. Bring your right thigh towards your stomach and your hands around your right shin. Draw that right thigh in as much as you can, pressing into your left foot so it stabilizes the movement as you curl your nose or your head towards your right knee. Rest your head all the way back and release your right foot down, and we do the same thing on the other side. So just letting your hands wait a moment, stabilize your right foot, press your right foot down, and your left thigh comes in towards your stomach, your ribs on the left side, and then exhale your head towards your knee. A little hint of a smile really is such a stabilizing force in itself. And like I'm always reminding everyone, even a fake smile gives us endorphins. So knowing what to do if you're meeting someone that challenges you for the next few days, draw your thighs in, both thighs in towards the chest. And now notice without one foot stabilizing us how that feels as you bring your head towards your knees. And rest your head back, really lowering the head down slowly. Press your feet down. And you're going to roll onto one side or the other and find your way up onto your hands and knees. And on your hands and knees, just pretend that you have never touched the yoga mat before, and maybe you really haven't been on cat-cow before. So we just unpeel through our hands like a pussycat or a big lion, just rolling and really stretching through the fingers and the base of the thumbs. And then pausing, press into your hands, sink your back and open out through the chest. And take a breath in here. Beautiful, gals. And then roll through your pelvis. Curl your head in. And stay here in that rounded back. Ideally, what we're seeking in the long term, having done cat-cow for a long time, is that the belly actually draws in towards the spine, even in this cat-cow posture. This is really about a forward fold sensation, rounding the back, and then sink the back. So sink the back is more like a sunken back, cow's back. And you breathe in, really press into your hands so you're strengthening through your shoulders and your wrists. You want to feel like you're making space in the wrist joint itself and the elbows. And then start through your pelvis, round your back. So we're seeking stability through this whole practice. So everything is kind of a bit more strengthening. Press into your hands, press through your arms, and curl your head in towards your chest. Very hard to talk when you do this. And then come to that neutral, flat back, softening the spine, breathing in through your nose and breathing out. Curl your toes under and sit your hips back. Slide your hands forward or walk your hands forward just for that lovely stretch through your arms, your armpits. And then finding that breath. So the armpits, especially the right armpit, is really particular for the waist jump of the lymph system. Breathing in, lift your head up, press into your knees too. And exhale and smile and just feel that beautiful, fantastic stretch through the spine. And then walking one hand back closer towards you, and then the other hand, we're actually going to come back up onto our hands and knees, but we're bringing our right foot forward, and it's going to go forward towards the long side of the mat. So you can use your hand to draw the ankle forward if that helps you. But what we're doing is you're rolling through that hip. So I'll show you the other side if you don't know what I'm doing. You're just rolling through that right hip, round and round, just like a circle. The Madonna song. I'll put a link in it. It's a fabulous song to do yoga with. I think she was really into yoga actually back then. Could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure she was. That whole album was kind of about her growth. And then from there, never mind Madonna, angelic goddess that she is, stretch that right leg back. And I have my left toes turned under, but you can also have the top of the left foot on the floor. I find the toes turned under is a lot more stabilizing. Stretch through that right leg. And if you notice my pelvis is a little bit out of balance, I'm trying to keep the pelvis in alignment to the floor, and I can feel when I tip my pelvis up with the leg behind me. We're always trying to build that psoas strength through the small awareness practices. The knee comes down, and then go through your cat-cow again. Really slowly notice if you have a propensity to rush through the practice. I just have another drink. And then from there, sit your hips back again, slide your hands forward. And this time walk your fingertips another bit forward as you again sink through the arms, stretch through your armpits, bow your head to the floor. And here maybe setting an intention for the day today. And whether you can think of an intention or not, how about bringing in gratitude for the people you love? And perhaps for the new people coming into our lives, or the people that we miss. Press into your knees and coming up, walk your hands or slide your hands back towards you, and your hands come underneath your shoulders. We're just going to do a little bit of a curl, look behind to your left or right ankle, and then go the other way. Still pressing into your hands, just noticing again how those hips feel. I really notice sometimes that the hip I'm not expecting to feel disconnected feels quite stiff. So looking around left and right, just move in your own patterns. So you're allowed to actually move in your own way. Finding your breath now as you really curl around to one side and look, breathe into the opposite ribs. And then go the other way. So you breathe in and you fill up and breathing out. Sit your hips back, press your toes down and rise up. Lift your hips into downward dog. Just for a moment, we get this big, huge stretch. Keep your knees bent. Just notice that fantastic stretch through the whole body. Press into your arms. And if you have not looked at your screen, just check. This would be the ideal posture, really, from wrist to hips, rising up. But it takes a while. Sometimes it doesn't come so easy. We're going to lower our knees down again after that fantastic stretch. And now we're going to stretch the left foot forward towards the outer edge of the mat. And then we do our cute hip circles. And don't forget to go both ways. You roll inways and then outways. And then when you're ready, you stretch that leg straight behind you. Take your time bringing it back and forth and try to, you might need to, well, my hands definitely need to shift a bit, being awkward today. Pelvis in alignment with the floor and trying to feel that your chin is actually in alignment with the neck. We often lift our chin out. It's really just straining and doing something we do all the time. Keep hovering that leg and press equally into both hands. Really building strength through the psoas muscle and the pelvis. And then bringing your knees close together. Sit your hips back and the tops of the feet come down. And allow the tops of the feet to press down as you sit your hips back as far as possible. If it's difficult for you or you get cramps in the ankles or leg area, come onto your elbows and make a tower with your fisted hands and your forehead goes on your hands and you lean on that. Otherwise, you stretch all the way back and your arms come by the side of your legs, your forehead down, and folding up real small. Curling yourself up, really helping the digestive power wake up. If this is a morning practice, which is always the ideal point in which to wake up. And then press the lower legs down and your head lifts up. Walk your hands forward and we press up to downward dog. And in downward dog, this dynamic practice of building a house of cards with our hands and our back, our feet and our legs. We start to walk our feet forward towards our hands. And your feet come hip distance apart. How do you tell they're hip distance apart? Just check that they're falling, the legs are falling out of your hips. Bring your hands on your knees and lower your hips down. Lift your head up first before you do anything. Lift your chest up and then press into your feet to rise up. Lift your arms and breathe in. And then exhale, lower your arms back and down. Good job. Inhale, lifting up. Stretch out through your fingertips. Roll your wrists one way and roll them the other way. And roll your arms back and down. And again, inhale and lift. Rolling your wrists one way, roll them the other way, and roll your arms back and down. Bring your hands onto your waist and really feel that you're pressing your pelvis down. So pressing everything down and lift up through the hips, lift up and out of your waist, rise up through the ribs. And so it's more of a direction than actually something that is going to feel like a major movement. So this in itself, this standing pose, mountain pose, is like one of the most stabilizing postures. So close your eyes, and this destabilizes us. So I just want you to feel the difference. But we're standing on the earth, and if you think of just you on the earth, like a globe, and you're looking at the globe, and there you are standing right on top of it, and then you realize that the earth is moving, I don't know, however fast it moves, cycles per minute. Just noticing that sense of how gravity is really essential to keep us here. And then again, press down through your feet. Contract your knees and see what happens when you do that. It helps you to rise up, but also it creates a sense of tightening through the body. So you contract the knees and then relax and continue to rise just through the proprioception, that internal knowledge of lengthening through the body. Breathing in and out. Your eyes peek open. And notice that you are again standing on top of the earth, but bringing in that vision of standing into your own life and stabilizing your own life with regular practice, whatever it is, whether it's yoga or walking every morning or Tai Chi or swimming, whatever it is, continue to have that ability to facilitate your health in your physical body. We bring our hands to our heart and set that intention into our heart, because it's not easy to do any of these things. It takes a lot of self-enhancing power. Setting that seed, rising up through the spine, breathing in and out. Inhale, lift your arms up and the eyes look up. And then exhale, bend your knees and sit your hips back. So the arms are wide open, open-hearted posture. Sit your hips down and lifting out through the chest. So it can also look like this, hands on hips and leaning away forward. I just find that lift feels more stabilizing for the thighs. Arms lifting up makes it more difficult. And then we do fold. So as your belly comes towards your thighs, your hands come down towards the earth. Touch your fingertips down and bend your knees more or less. So if you're more adept, you press into your heels and you lengthen through your legs. But whatever way you are, you round your back and fold. And then we inhale, lift our head and shoulders up. Sit your hips back a little bit, yowza. And a little bit of a smile, step your right foot back. We're not going to bring the knee down. We're just going to look ahead. So you might need to adjust your pose so that that left rib or the left thigh move away from each other. And then into downward dog. Flat hands on the mat, really stretching through the long line of the trunk of your body. And then your knees come down. And then we sink our back and round our back. And sit your hips all the way back into that extended child pose, so your arms stay way ahead of you. And then we're going to press into our knees. And ideally, we're going to creep close to the floor, but I'm going to keep to the simple one today, and we'll do the harder one on Thursday. You bring your shoulders over your wrists, and you allow your belly to draw in towards your spine as you lower your chest to the floor and slide your legs back. So your chest moves forward and you go on the floor and your legs go back behind you. Press your pelvis down and your head and shoulder lifts. And then tops of the feet touch the floor and you extend out through your knees. Breathing in and out. And then lower your nose towards the mat and relax your back. Press your pelvis down, and this time you're going to use the exhale to rise up, and the knees also lift, but the tops of the feet stay down. Breathe in here and lift your hands. And then exhale and peel your nose and your back down and relax your knees. And the next one, you're actually going to move all the way up to your hands and knees without direction, trying to keep your back long and not sinking your back until you're on your hands and knees. And on your hands and knees, bring your hands right underneath you and your knees together. Turn your toes under, and we're going to lift our right knee out, hip height if possible. And then lowering that knee back to the other knee. So the right knee lifts and the right knee draws in. All the way up, press into both your hands and out. And the last one, you're going to look behind and see how high the knee is. And the ankle is still at a right angle. You try and say that 5 times. And then that knee comes back together. So the more we practice that, the more that mobility increases. We're going to do the left side now. And yes, it is hard on the wrists, but we will get through it. Left knee lifts up as hip height is best, and lowering it down. 1, and all the way up again. Press into your hands and smile. And 2, and all the way up. 3, and on the 4th one, look over and see how high that knee is. And be impressed. And bring the knee down. Sit your hips back. Slide your hands forward. Have a little breath in. Lift your head up. And have a longer breath out. Press up to downward dog. And then stepping your right foot forward under your heart or towards your hands. Bend your right knee and look ahead. Then you're going to lift your back leg up and press into your right foot. So if you're more adept, you lift the leg as high as you want. But all we do is we lower that left foot forward towards the right foot. Sounds so easy, doesn't it? Hands on your knees. Lower your hips. Lift your head up. And then rising all the way up. Roll your arms back and down, and just the other side now. And then nearly finishing for the morning. Hands to your heart. Inhale, lift your arms up. Roll your wrists, arms out, shoulder height. And if you want to, you can link your hands behind you. Just makes it a little bit different. Bend your knees. So with the original that we started with was arms out, shoulder height, or hands on your hips. We are in our chair pose, and you can also have your hands linked behind you. Then you can bring your belly to your thighs, everyone into their forward fold. Curl your head in and bow to the earth. And just giving a bit of praise to the earth herself and our deep appreciation for her care. And then we lift our head and shoulders up. This helps us to step back. Left foot goes back. Keep your hips high. I hope I can remember what we did. It's always a mystery with Kelly. And then into downward dog. If you want someone that's not Vata deranged, a lot of the time you're with the wrong teacher. Inhale, lift your heels up, and exhale, lower your heels towards the floor, and your knees come down. And sink your back and round your back. And then we bring our hips back, and you remember we were doing that thing. So you had the modification for the first one, and this is the hard version now, where you bring your elbows towards the floor. That's awkward in itself. And then you skim your nose towards the mat. You keep your hips lifted, and you unroll your pelvis, and you're on the floor. It's like magic. Well done. And it is very difficult. I do agree. Bring your legs together. It took me a long time to learn that, but I did have 2 years on my teacher training. Press your pelvis down and then exhale, lift your head and shoulders up. Now lift your hands if you can. So the first one of most of them, there's a lot of me talking. And then the second one, I'm hoping everyone can practice for themselves. Press your pelvis down and you rise up and pick your medicine. And down again. And the third one into your downward dog. Inhale, lift your heels up. Exhale, lower your heels towards the floor and lengthen through the ribs from the bottom rib to the top of your pelvis. And then when you're ready, you think where you want your left foot to go and you step it close to your heart underneath there or somewhere between your hands. Just that step forward. Lift up through the spine, rise up. I know it's challenging. If you walk your hands one little step forward, press into the front foot to lift the back leg. You don't have to make it a big kind of fancy lift either, but you can, of course, lift it high and then lowering that right foot down. Fingertips are down on the floor. Inhale, lift your heels up. Woo! And then peel down and feel into your stability of standing on your own 2 feet. And then your hands on your knees, forward fold, and then rising up, flatten your back and lift. Oh, well done. Inhale, lift your arms up, roll your wrists one way and roll them the other way. Peel your hands to your heart. Bend your knees and sit back. Bring your belly to your thighs. Walk your feet out about 2 winds so that you're almost to the long side of the mat for both feet and sit your hips down. See if you can sit down. You can bring your hands behind you because that's what we're going to do. Hands behind us. Find a way down with your seat on the floor. Your fingertips are facing behind you to the short side of the mat. Just check that they are. Sometimes they're sideways rather than behind. This just gives you better action in the body. And then lift up through the spine, looking ahead. Plant your hands down and plant your feet down. Now really press into your feet and notice again what's happening in the pelvis and then release. Just notice that strength. Have your feet facing forward. I have one leg that kind of swings out. And that's the more I repeat the correct alignment, the more the body will find its way to healing that imbalance. And then you press into your hands, press into your feet, and we hover our seat off the mat or your pelvis. The higher you go, the harder it gets. So ideally, you're trying to roll through the chest and have a nice, long, flat back and your nose to the sky. Good job. Keep your hips high and then slowly, slowly lowering everything down back where they started. So you lean forward and you bring your belly to your thighs and wrap your arms around your shins or thereabouts. And then from there, rise up into that long back. Bring your hands on top of your knees and see, can you peel your back slowly down 1 vertebrae at a time and lower your back to the mat, to the floor, to the earth. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out. This time, breathing in through your nose and fill your belly up. And breathing out, release your breath. Bringing your right thigh in towards your stomach and wrap your hands around that right shin, press into your left foot and draw that right thigh towards your right side. And now bring the right knee right out into the armpit on the right. Breathing in and breathing out. And then release the right foot down. And take a breath in. So your foot is back where it started. Sorry, my hair is getting everywhere on the face. And then press your right foot down and bring your left thigh towards your stomach and wrap both your hands around that shin or the knee and draw it in. Really feel that squeeze and compression of the left hip. And the hips have so much to do in the pelvis. They're all first chakra things, that's why we're focusing on them. And then bring that left knee out into the left armpit. And again, this is more compression on the pelvis, but also it's really awakening the breath, that compression, forcing us to breathe in and out. And then you release that foot where it was. And breathing in and breathing out. Let your knees tap together and say hello, and then knees facing the sky. Your right foot, actually, no, we'll do Vipariti Karani, even though we don't have a lot of time. I always encourage it. So if you have your menstrual cycle, to not go into the full practice, but just lifting your legs straight up to the sky. Keep your knees soft and draw your thighs in towards your pelvis, about 4 inches in towards your pelvis. So they're not straight up to the sky, but they're drawn in, especially if your legs aren't up the wall. Otherwise, you bring your elbows in towards your waist. You bend your elbows and your fingertips face to the sky. Press down through your upper arms and lift your hips into your hands. And you can also make a bowl with your hands, with the base of your hands. And just 6 breaths here. Whichever form of Vipariti Karani you choose. The queen of all poses, and I'm all about the queen. A little hint of a smile. Whether you are male or female, we all have that queen within us, that sovereignty of the feminine. And it is, again, since we are just coming out of the last energetics of the equinox, we're finding balance between our own male strength and female strength, passive and the more energetic, active. Slowly, slowly find a way to roll your back down and your feet land down flat on the floor, the earth. However your arms and hands are, turn your palms so they're upward facing to the sky. Breathing in and out. And slowly letting your right leg stretch out so the foot faces towards the short side of the mat. And then the left sliding out towards the left side of the mat. And allow the body to just be in the stillness and silence, which isn't easy, but stability is silent. Allow your eyes to relax away from your eyelids. And follow and trace 3 breaths here. Feeling especially that that exhale is really grounding and holding you onto the earth. And then slowly curling onto one side or the other. Breathing in and out. And then making your way up to sitting. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, open your arms out, shoulder height. Inhale, lift your arms straight to the sky. Exhale, open your arms out. And inhale, now bring your palms together into Anjali Mudra. Spread your fingertips on top of each other. Breathing in and breathing out. And just from that posture of Anjali Mudra, you're going to bring the tips of your fingers together. So my palms of my hands are separated. I'm turning my hands underneath and softening my fingers. So I'm going to show you up close. From here to here and down, but soften. So it's like we have kind of an egg. So this is the equal balance of the energies of the 5 elements of life. We're going to sit with that. We just have a minute. Uno momento. That's all the Spanish I have. Breathing in and out. Finding our balance, finding our place, standing in our stillness, and in any other moment, moving with vitality. This is stability. And a little hint of a smile. Allowing our stability to help support us in our laughter and our mad moments. Peel your hands together again to your heart and bowing your head to your own loving heart. And thank you so much for joining me today. It's lovely to have the company. And also make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. It would be really appreciated. I thank you very much for joining me today. It really helps having company here. Yeah, and I will talk to you all soon. There'll be another video coming. Bye for now, and thank you.